Going on to the next one. You ready for the next one?
Let's go.
So this is a high school level now, high school juniors. This is a mixed doubles match, which I thought was pretty cool. And we're going to highlight the guys at the net here. So keep your eye on them. So here we have the net player looking to take the middle. So momentum going that way. He isn't able to get it. And now on this side of the court, you can see that the boy on this side is clearly covering his line really, really hard. And you can see how much space that the baseliner here has to hit cross court into. If I pause it there again, he's so far over that there isn't any pressure on this shot. It's a pretty good shot. And now the same thing on the other side of the net. You see where his left foot is there all the way in the tram line. So again, he's covering 20% of the court, 25% of the court maybe, and his momentum's going to the line. Again, momentum is going to the line. There's so much court for the person to hit it into. So it's pretty comfortable to play this cross-court rally now for the girls. There isn't a lot of pressure so far in this point. Again, you see the guy in the boy in the blue on the other side. His momentum is going all that way. Okay, so all the way towards the line. So he's not going to get anything even close to the middle. And now here we have a poach. Okay, and now when you poach, you're absolutely moving, okay, on your way. But from the other position that we saw earlier, you want to be split stepping and have balance so you can go in either direction. If you're not poaching, and this is something I teach really fundamentally at the beginning when I work with someone in their doubles, if you're not poaching, then you should be in a good positional spot to cover territory, right? And then you should have the ability to go either to your right or your left. And so far in this point, we've only seen the guys have ability to go to one side, and that's to their line, and they're not covering any territory. Now here, I give this boy credit. Now he's poaching, he's crossing. So here you do commit one way and you're no longer split because you're poaching. So it's different. And he goes, and unfortunately for him, he doesn't hit a good enough volley there, and they lose the point.
But he did do a good job at reaching that ball. That was a wide cross court that she hit from the baseline there, it seems.
No, absolutely. And then just and so he wasn't able to make the volley, but this is the best play of the point because he's getting involved and he's moving. Yes. But I want to take you back again to, you know, these shots. Well, that's a poach actually on the first one, but this one, his momentum's left. He can only cover the line here. So even a ball that goes through, say, the center line, he's not going to get. Same here. His momentum's left. There's no split step and able to go to his forehand volley. So example after example of that. And therefore, you're not covering much territory, and therefore you're not applying much pressure on the people that are hitting from the back of the court.
Right. And, you know, I mean, and that is such a great example of, you know, over movement without purpose, almost, you know, well, not without purpose, but without being an effective movement. They're not covering their territory, but they're moving a ton. They're consistently moving. They're engaged physically, but they're just in the wrong place at the wrong time during most of the point.
Yeah, and I do believe that this is a really common thread that we, and I include me on this as well, we are afraid to get passed down the line. I mean, that is a kind of a fear that we have as doubles players. No, I have to cover my line. I have to cover my territory. And the reality is that you need to cover the middle much more than you need to cover the line. If someone goes down your line, then they're going for a small space. And if they miss, then the ball's out. If they're going cross court and they miss in the middle, the ball's in, right? So there's a lot more space in the middle and to go cross court for them to hit. Whereas if they go down the line into a smaller space and they miss, the point's yours. Right. And I love and I think I got this from Louis Caillet, who's a, you know, fantastic Canadian coach, tennis coach in general, but, you know, specializes in doubles coaching now. And he's unbelievable. And he says, don't worry about your line until you get past 3 times down the line. And I really took that to heart many, many years ago. And I think it's a fantastic advice. So I would give it here. And cover the middle much more than your line. And in this point, unfortunately, these boys can do a lot better job of covering the middle because they're pretty much exclusively covering a small part of their line until the last poach that we saw.
Yeah. And these boys, their movement, instead of so much left and right, should really be, a meter forward, 3-4 feet forward, and then backwards towards the player on the opposing end, rather than left and right.
Yes, and you see that they aren't that close to the net either. So they're caught. So even if the ball does come to them, they're not going to be able to be that effective with a volley.
Right.
And I would say that the boy in white who eventually did poach, when he did poach, it would have been helpful to him if he was a little closer to the net. Fortunately, I have another example coming up where he does get a lot closer to the net, which I want to highlight.
Good. Awesome.
Yeah. All right. We ready for the next one?
Let's do it.
Okay. So I thought this was a great still shot. Jenny Brady serving, Caroline Dolehide at the net. And you see Caroline's position there. And I just put the red lines in there to show that she's undoubtedly, if not in the very middle of the service box, she may even be a touch closer to the middle. And this is really typical at the pro level of really strong doubles players. And even with the men, you'll see, Jamie Murray and Suarez and some of these guys, they'll be even closer to the middle. They're almost daring you, take my line. Let's see if you can change directions with a first serve or with a strong shot from my parcher and go down my line. I don't think you can do it. And so I thought this was great. Obviously, these pro players are incredible athletes, really athletic. So I understand that at a recreational level, you may not be quite as aggressive, but I want them to have the same sort of mentality as, hey, there's my line. Let's see if you can hit it into a small space and beat it. But I'm going to help my partner out by taking middle here. Really good. And as we watch this point, I'm going to kind of watch Caroline here, who's at the net. And as you said there, she takes just a slight shift backwards, but you can still see where she is. Ball goes cross. There she's still in a pretty aggressive place there. Again, she's not covering her line the way we saw in the last rally, right, with the high school kids. She's very much in the middle, looking, can I cut anything off? And then here, again, I'm highlighting a split step because it's right in the middle as opposed to the guys that were going in the directions of the line. She's holding her position here. And so she's ready to take a forehand or a backhand volley. And as you can see, I think she's giving up a small part of her line. If Strichka is able to take the line here and hit it within this, it's probably a winner. Mm-hmm. But again, you will see a lot of coaches, and I'm sure you agree, you can have that. If you can hit it in that, I can feed you 10, and there's no way you're going to change directions with my feed and hit that in 4 or 5 times out of 10, and particularly not 6 out of 10, which is the only way that you get ahead. So Strichka actually goes down a line here, and Caroline does a good job because she's balanced of reaching it. She doesn't hit a particularly strong volley, but she's able to get it back deep. And Sue Wei misses the next shot. So I just think good example of a split step and of holding your ground and being able to go in either direction, which was kind of in contrast to the high school that we saw.
Wow, that's awesome. Can we see that point one more time, just in real speed, if you don't mind? Yeah, it's just amazing to me how, yes, she keeps her focus forward. She keeps her momentum, at the net there. She's balanced, like you said, every single time the opponents were striking the ball, she's in a balanced state to be able to react. And, it pays off.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, no, it's good. Yeah. And, and that's the mentality, though, sometimes, as you said, we're afraid of that line pass because it hurts more, and if the opponent hits 1 out of 10 that passes us into that 1 foot inside of the double sideline, we remember it more. We feel it's more of a loss or a heavy impact to our body. But at the same time, if you just turn it around and go, you know what, well done, good shot, because you know that they can only make that very randomly, it helps psychologically to just move on.
Yeah, and I fully empathize with people on this because I actually played a match yesterday. Yeah. Again, just a fun match, but I caught myself being worried about my line. Don't, and I thought to myself, come on, you've got enough experience. Let them have the line. They're not having the middle. And so I understand how we get caught up with that, but I would love to make the players more self-aware, become more self-aware. Don't worry too much. Wait until it happens 3 times before you make any adjustment, because the balls you will reach and get in the middle and help and have more fun and be engaged and get more volleys is such a bigger payoff than the 1 or 2 that get past you down the line. And you'd be shocked how many times, I mean, I would encourage people, chart your next 4 matches, count how many times did I get passed down the line, and I bet you can count them on one hand. It rarely happens.
Yeah. And like I said, it's a conscious effort though to remind yourself or have some sort of cue words or, reminders to just let that side be.
Absolutely. Again, I know it's challenging, but yep, you can change that mindset a little bit. You'll become a better player. It'll be more fun because you'll be getting your hands on more shots and playing more often.
Right.
All right. I think we got two more quick ones.
Okay.
What'd you see there?
Nice little poach and moving forward from that player.
Yeah, I mean, have a look at that. I mean, he can probably easily touch the net from there, right? I mean, he's so close to the net. So when he gets a volley, he can put that wherever he likes. And in fact, he probably takes one of the harder volleys by angling it off, in a sort of an off direction there. Mm-hmm. But because he's so close to the net and he's moved really well diagonally forward, okay, so he's got closer to the net as he's poached. I mean, it looks like the easiest volley he's hit in his life. And I quite like the boy in blue down here just gives him a clap. Yeah, good move. You got me. Well done. So there is a really good example of diagonal movement forward, a great poach, and then a volley away to space. If you can volley away from the person and not give them a chance to reflex it, then that's pretty good. And if you're that close and you're in that good a position, then you absolutely can. So really, really good point there from him.
Yeah, no, and it looks like he was ready to do that just as the serve was coming over the net. He sort of had that in his mind preset. And is that something that you do with your players as well when you talk about communication between points? That heads up on I may go or I may poach or I'm certainly poaching. How do you deal with that with your players?
I believe the net player really wants to know where the serve's coming. Particularly on a first serve, because they should be trying to help out and where can I gain advantage? And you are going to adjust positionally based on where the serve goes. So if we go back at kind of the start of this point, if the serve goes T here, then the boy in white on the other side is going to come towards the middle a little bit to shade that way. Now, if the serve goes wide here, he may shade a tiny bit to his right to follow the ball a little bit. The same way that we follow a ball when we're going to the net in singles. If we hit it that way, we're going to follow and go towards there. The same thing happens off a serve. So you need to, as the net player, you need to know where the serve is coming, because then you can help out better and try to get your hands on the ball and help your partner win their serve. And then, there are obviously you can plan poaches or plan crosses. But I really encourage the players to be instinctual. And one of the things I used to tell the people that I played with was always, hey, I don't care if you get passed down the line. Like, get involved as much as you want, go as much as you want. I'd rather lose my serve with you getting passed down the line than with them feeling comfortable just to hit cross court to me all the time. So that's kind of the mindset that I try and put into the players.
That's a really good piece of advice for people communicating with their partner, encouraging them to get involved, because, if at a club level, at least I've noticed a lot of times when two players are playing, they almost feel like they're letting their partner down if they get passed down the alley. It's like, oh, I didn't cover my side. Right?
Yeah, that's right.
And you just said it's completely the opposite from that. It's like, no, get involved, get in the middle, get passed down the middle, get passed down the side, but do get involved in the point. Help me create the point where it matters most.
Yeah, and doubles is really a complementary game. Can you help me? I will help you. Can you help me? The better you hit your serve or your ground stroke or your volley, the more it's going to set me up. The weaker you hit your serve or your ground stroke or your volley, or the more careful you are, the more that they can attack me. And so you want it to be complementary. You definitely want to work together on that and be aligned with that sort of mentality. And I absolutely love it. I don't care if you get passed down the line, try and help, get involved, and you're going to get better that way.